Hello, everyone. It's Derek Kumi again. A different week, yet another fascinating topic that is trends and practices, future ready school, and digital transformation. This is actually going to be the spotlight for Module 3. This is going to be the discussion outline so that you can follow along. I start off with context and source. That's the Louisiana Department of Education AI guidance. Second, I provide the summary of the policy. Third, AI literacy analysis. This is where I compare the Louisiana Department of Education AI guidance to the UNESCO's AI literacy framework for teachers and students. The fourth one becomes personal as I provide a critique of the Louisiana AI guidance from a leadership standpoint. Fifth, I offer some recommendations, and lastly, references if in case you want to do some more research about the resources that I used. So, to provide context and source for this particular assignment, I selected the Louisiana Department of Education's AI policy or guidance. The policy document is titled Artificial Intelligence in Louisiana Schools Guidance for K 12 Schools. This AI policy document was created by the Louisiana Department of Education, and it was written solely for school system leaders, school leaders, teachers, families, policymakers, researchers, and other educational technology stakeholders. All right, there are a lot to talk about the AI policy, but in order not to digress or bombard you with lots of information, three questions are going to guide the delivery of this particular slide and two slides thereafter. The first question concerns what the AI policy says about AI usage, and the second question that is going to guide the delivery is whether AI is encouraged, restricted, prohibited, or allowed, and lastly, issues that are addressed by the document. So, the first one that is worth noting is that AI should serve as a supportive educational tool and not to replace teachers. I think this is self explanatory because AI is just a tool, but in the end, users should be human in the loop. The second one that the policy makes mention of the most is how AI can be used to personalize learning, real-time feedback, and student engagement. Because of individual differences, AI can serve as a differentiator tool where instructions are being tailored to the individual needs and ability levels of the student. And so here, I like an example is where a mathematics teacher uses AI to generate multiple versions of like a task or problem at different ability levels, right? And lastly, AI must be used safely, ethically, and transparently. And that is also another provision by the AI policy document. The Louisiana AI guidance have four tiered system that outlines how AI can be integrated into instruction. So each tier explains the extent to which AI can be used or utilized. Either AI is allowed, restricted, or prohibited. Let's go through these four tiers. The first one is AI empowered. Here, AI tools are actively promoted for only specific educational purposes, and even when used, it needs human supervision. The second one is AI enhanced. So AI is permitted under certain conditions and with specific guidelines. Third, AI assisted talks about how AI usage is restricted for particular situations or subject areas. And lastly, AI prohibited. Here, AI is not allowed for tasks meant to assess students' knowledge and skills. So, as you can see, this is very useful because it avoids us treating or conflating AI to be the same. For example, using AI to brainstorm ideas is absolutely different from, say, using AI to write an essay. The following issues are being addressed by the AI guidance. The first one is academic integrity. So the AI policy discusses plagiarism, cheating, AI generated work, citation, etc. I think this is one of the most developed part of the document. The second one is privacy and data protection. As technology leaders and even technology writ large, we know it's very important to make provisions for privacy because we can't be using technology without privacy and data protection. So it's throughout the document, it has bits of privacy and data protection provisions. The first one is FERPA, which stand for Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and COPPA, that is Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and other Louisiana student privacy laws. That's very important in protecting data sharing and all that. The third one is transparency and accountability. I like that the policy document makes provision for stakeholders to be involved in the discussion and communication around AI usage. The fourth one is equity and accessibility. Again, AI can be used to personalize learning due to individual differences. So the document recognizes that AI can be used to support students with disabilities, English learners, and students with different educational learning needs. The fifth one is bias and ethical use. Here, it lists or mentions fairness, algorithmic bias, explainability, digital citizenship, and I think responsible use of AI as important concerns. And lastly, professional learning and support. I think up until this point in the technology leadership in education, one thing that stands out is professional development. And I like that the Louisiana AI document makes provision for that. And it calls it or it recommends cyclical professional learning and feedback and coaching. So I think this is also very important. One useful way to analyze the Louisiana Department of Education's guidance is to throw this question in the air. Perhaps if you've had the opportunity to read it, you can also answer the questions that I am going to ask herein. The first one is, does the document or policy only tell schools how to control AI, or does it help educators and students become thoughtful AI users? I'll be the first person to answer this because I have spent, lots of hours trying to dissect the elements of the text. So, yeah, the AI policy document begins to build AI literacy. I really commend that. But then it leans more strongly toward the safe use, compliance, and risk control than say toward a full AI competency pathway. But no problem. This is why we have the UNESCO AI competency framework. As you can see on my screen, we have two frameworks, one for students and then the other for teachers. For the purpose of this presentation, I will concentrate more on teachers and then provide bits of student ingredients in the ensuing analysis or critique. So the students AI competency framework has only four parts, and it's responsible for preparing students to be creative and responsible citizens in the era of AI. And the teachers framework has five sections, and that is to guide teachers on AI usage and the misuse in education. After my engagement with LDOE AI guidance and UNESCO AI competency frameworks, I came up with these 3 points. First, human centered mindset and accountability. So, UNESCO emphasizes that AI should not replace teachers' judgment. Similarly, the LDOE guidance says the exact same thing, stating that AI should support teachers rather than replace their expertise. Um, I can give an example here. For example, a student that does not understand systems of equation in Algebra 2. So they ask AI, how can I solve this equation? That's the first step. But the human centered approach here is for the student to check the steps, compare response with class methods, and explain the reasoning in their own words. So this is a very strong literacy move. The second one is ethics, privacy, and responsible use. The LDOE guidance is strongest in the area of ethical and responsible use. And this also aligns closely with UNESCO's ethics dimension, particularly the idea that teachers should understand safe and responsible use, data privacy bias, intellectual property, and human accountability. And lastly, AI pedagogy and classroom integration. Prior or up until this point, one of the recurring themes, aside professional learning or professional development, is that whatever decision we make regarding technology leadership should drive instruction, teaching, and learning. And so it's very important here that the LDOE guidance does build some AI literacy through pedagogy, through the four-tiered AI and SAMR model. I think the only limitation is that the guidance does not yet provide a clear progression of AI literacy, like the way UNESCO does provide the progression regarding students and teachers. I'm going to put my critical lens on because this is where I provide my leadership critique. So, what is strong about the LDOE AI policy? I like that the guidance does not take an extreme position like ban AI or you can use AI everywhere. Instead, it says, or it presents AI as a tool that can personalize learning, support teachers, while emphasizing on instances where it could be used, it cannot be used, may be allowed or prohibited. I like that. The second one is the emphasis on human decision making. The advent of technology and even AI has made us understood that amidst the intelligence of technology and AI, humans should always be at the center, called human in the loop, to decode the the stuff generated by AI. So I think the LDOE AI policy document does great, making emphasis on that. The third one is the tiered AI integration model. I think this is really doing it for me. Um, didn't realize that there was a thing like that. The fact that it has, even aside the tiered model, it has the SAMR framework that guides the way teachers and students go about the usage of AI. I think that's a like that does it for me. I like that. All right, what is missing? What is unclear or underdeveloped? So the guidance does not fully explain how schools should build AI literacy over time. As you recall from the previous slide, I made mention of the fact that it does make provision of, oh, use AI to do this or use AI to do that. But then we should understand that nobody can just wake up or and say I'm going to use AI. There is the need to build the idea regarding AI with time, and the document doesn't provide that. The second one is the guidance does not give enough concrete tools for evaluating ethical issues. There are snippets of, again, use AI for this, use AI for that, but there is nothing like a provision for uh, like evaluating ethical issues, and I find it very interesting. And lastly, academic integrity section is useful but somewhat defensive. What do I mean by that? So it focuses heavily on plagiarism, cheating, monitoring, and detection. Yes, I'm not saying that those issues don't matter. They do matter. But responsible AI leadership should also ask, how do we redesign assignments so students use AI to think more deeply and not to generate answers? Because the manner how we design our items might call for students to use AI. Yeah, so that's my point right there. And does it reflect responsible AI innovation? Yes, a very resounding yes. The policy reflects responsible AI innovation. However, to fully reflect responsible AI innovation, I'm not saying it does not, but I'm saying it does, it needs clearer implementation tools. And I understand that it was implemented uh, a couple of years ago, that's fall. And so I know in the next policy document, there are going to be changes and additions that may answer this particular point. All right, I'm going to take my critical lens off. This is where I want to provide my own additions, recommendations to the LDOE AI policy. The first one is grade band AI literacy outcomes. What do I mean by that? For example, what should elementary, middle, and high school students know about AI? Bias, privacy, citation, and responsible use. It is a question. That's the starting point. Second, a teacher professional learning pathway. We don't expect teachers to be AI experts overnight. And so here, the LDOE may replicate UNESCO's progression model for teachers. So, for example, we have the acquire, deepen, and create. And third one is a classroom AI use template. So this could help teachers clearly state when AI is allowed, when it is restricted, and when it is prohibited. I understand that it does provide a tiered system, but it is not the same as classroom usage. It's different. And lastly, an AI to review checklist. So before a district adopt an AI tool, leaders should be able to evaluate privacy, accessibility, bias, age appropriateness, and what have you, human oversight, and what have you. Yeah, so these are my recommendations. In case you want to read more about the resources that I use for this particular discussion or presentation, you can refer to these references. So these are ways to connect with me in case you have suggestions, constructive feedback, or questions. This is my website there and my email address. We can connect and see you in the next one.